Hey everyone, it's your boy Graphic back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at one of the most effective and cheapest ganking builds there is. We're going to look first at the claws. It's going to be one of the most obvious parts of the ganking build. We're going to have the Sunder Armor. You can also go Assassin's Spirit. It's really a preference at that point. You could just read the abilities real quick to yourself, as there's really no difference in what you go. Your damage is not going to be increased or decreased by that much using either one. So now that we're looking at the W, you're obviously going to want your dash. In the daggers, there's always going to have that opportunity for a dash, and that's why the claws are so good. You're going to have that dash, and maybe the biggest point of the claws of being so good is going to be your E, which is the Disembowel. You're going to be able to root an enemy for 10 hits, and you're going to do 127 bleed damage per second for 3 seconds. And this root is very good. It's going to actually cancel abilities as well, so very strong. Make sure you don't use it when they, are using or they, have 2 people coming in. Don't let them cancel your Disembowel. Make sure you use it at a time that it works best. And one real quick thing is I am going to be going Demon Cape. So if you don't know what Demon Cape does, it creates a 3-meter radius lava area below the enemy, deals 112 magic damage every 0.5 seconds against players, and 54 magic damage every 0.5 seconds against creatures. So basically, it's going to do a lot of damage when you activate your cape for the first time. So if it's on if it's not on cooldown and your cape is up and ready for use, you need to make sure you use your Disembowel and keep them under the lava. That's going to be a lot of damage. And also, before you use your claws, you're going to want to use your poison pot. You see you have a poison pot here. I have a tier 6 poison pot, and I always go out there with about 10 poison pots. You can go out there with tier 4, tier 6, or tier 8, depending on what you're looking to do. But tier 6 is what a lot of people use. And let's just say you have poison pots, tier 6. You're going to throw a tier 6 poison pot before you use your Disembowel. It's going to reduce their resistances. As we click here, you'll be able to see that it does a lot of damage, true damage per second, but it also reduces their resistances by 30 for 7 seconds, and that's going to be probably the strongest part of the poison for this case and scenario. It's going to also be a way of knocking people off of their mount. If they're getting away and you need a ranged attack, and obviously you're not playing a ranged character, you just toss the poison off on them, and just like that, they'll be knocked off their mount. But like I said, you're going to want to make sure you Disembowel after you poison, and make sure you have your lava cape up and channel it all on top of the lava. So the Disembowel is very, very strong, and that's probably one of the main reasons why we're going to be using claws for the cheapest and most effective build. Deep cuts is going to be what we're going to use. So every 4 normal attacks, you're inflicting a bleed on the enemy, which deals 48 per second for 1.5 seconds. A lot of you guys probably know about this build, but this is for those newcomers that are still learning what ganking is all about, and what build should I go, and what what abilities should you use while ganking with this build. So we're gonna look. Obviously, the mount is not a big deal unless you're going for fast mount ganking. If you're going for fast mount ganking, I would suggest a Swift Claw or a Direwolf, as those are pretty cheap, effective fast mounts. But as we look at the bag, make sure to bring something cheap, if bringing anything at all, because if you get a kill, they're most likely going to have a bag on them. There you go, there's your bag. So it's up to you, not a big deal. You can go whatever you want. But now we're going to look at the helmet, and this is going to be maybe the most expensive part of this, a cheap and effective build, as I change that to the tab of YouTube. So all right, now we're going to refocus up here. The Royal Helm is going to be one of the strongest helms for ganking, and that's because of the Ballista support fire. Your Royal allies fire a burning barrel at ground target location. It takes a little time before it reaches the desired location. When it does, it stuns all enemies hit for 2.74 seconds and deals 126 physical damage. So obviously it's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to be about that stun, just keeping them in place and doing damage to them. And if you have 2 or 3 guys with you, you're going to be solid if you all run a Ballista support fire and claws or any other kind of weapon that stuns. So let's see, your toughness, authority, or tenacity. The one you're probably going to want to be going is authority because of the CC duration increased. It's just going to make you, have a longer CC on your Ballista support fire and any other CC that you plan on going. And then for the chest, we actually have multiple options. So I have the Adept's Assassin Jacket on right now, and that is because of the ambush. The ambush lets you turn invisible for 8 seconds, and this is maybe one of the biggest reasons to use the ambush is if you're the guy up front in your ganking group, if you're guarding a gate or something. So let's click that right now and kind of show you what I mean by that. So you know how up here in the corners sometimes you'll see name tags coming from the corner of your eye. As soon as you see that and you're already dismounted at a gate without your, make sure your mount is not in the area. You don't have your mount up. But as soon as you see, a name tag coming into play, you instantly tap your invis so that they continue to walk thinking you either passed through the gate or, left the area. Make sure you tap that invis, as it's very important to get that off quickly and get your stun in so the rest of your teammates can come in out of the, area where they can't see you. Can't think of the name of it, but you know what I'm saying. And that's going to be the assassin jacket, and that's if you're looking to be the guy up front and get the first stun or first root on the enemy. So we're going to show you the other two jackets, not jackets, but armors that you can actually run. First, we're going to throw the Graveguard armor on, and Soul Chain is going to be very, very strong. It attaches a chain to an enemy, and after 3 seconds, the enemy will be pulled to your position. However, if the enemy is more than 30 meters away from you, the chain will break and the enemy won't be pulled. So make sure you know what the approximate range of 30 meters really is. It's a pretty decent distance. Just stay somewhat nearby them and give that soul chain in, and you're going to get a increased duration on your passive on this, which is going to be very, very strong. That 10% increased duration is going to help a lot with your Royal Helm Ballista Support Fire yet again. And then you're going to probably go a Spirit Crush. Normal attacks to apply a debuff on mobs, which can reduce max health by 12%. And that's honestly just because I always have it on Spirit Crush. It's not going to help you at all with ganking, so you actually might as well go the Protective Instinct, which increases your threat generation by 300%. So the passive on this Graveguard armor probably won't matter for anything, but the 10% increased CC duration definitely will. So make sure you have that on. As we go to the next armor that you can use, we have a Wind Wall. The Wind Wall is going to be an ability that we're going to pop these on real quick. So you're actually going to be able to go the Authority again, which is very strong, like I said. And then Protective Instincts, probably which you're going to want to go. As we have this Wind Wall, I'm going to kind of show you, acting like this is the gate here. So if you're the guy in the very back, maybe, of the ganking squad, and you have your invis player up here, and you maybe have somebody guarding the right side, and maybe, let's say you're the left side, you have 3-man ganking squad guarding a gate, make sure to guard the gate well with your Wind Wall. Your Wind Wall basically is a wall that lasts for 4 seconds, which knocks all enemies hit by it back. So what you're going to be able to do with this, let's say you're on this left side, and I throw this out, they're actually not going to be able to pass through it at all, unless they have a Night Helm. I believe they can. But for the most part, they're not going to be able to pass through it, so they're going to have to go around it. And if they just run in with their horse, and try to get through to the gate, they're going to get knocked back, and that'll allow your teammates to come over and help you with Disembowel and your Ballista Support Fire. And like I said, you can run 4.0 armor because you're going to have a Siphon Energy, and you can just pop your Siphon Energy and Overcharge. It's going to increase your item power by 100 for 30 minutes, and you have a 15% chance your gear will break permanently at the end of your Overcharge, but it's definitely well worth it, as 4.0 gear is very, very cheap. The only thing you're spending any money on really is your cape, which is not mandatory. If you have 3 guys, you can probably do the damage without the Demon Cape, not mandatory at all. Or you can run the Royal Helm, is going to be the other most expensive item on this build. It's going to be about 85,000 silver for the 4.0, and that's just because it's that good and it's a Royal Helm. So it's very, the Royals are always a little bit more expensive if you haven't figured that out yet, and that's going to be one of the reasons, is just because of how effective it is in ganking. But we're going to show you now the boots we're going to use. So the boots we're going to use are going to be called the Soldier Boots, and the Soldier Boots are going to be used because of the Wanderlust. If you're a gatherer, you probably know what Wanderlust is. It is a skill that allows you to increase your movement speed by 10% every second, and it stacks up to 8 seconds. This effect lasts for 16 seconds. And then you're going to want to probably just, throw in the toughness to, if you get in a fight or, some damage comes from mobs, you're going to take less damage. If you need to, you can put the Courier on. I can't say the word. But you can put that on, and it'll help you a lot with bringing back items to the Guild Island or the your personal island or the bank or wherever you guys are bringing the gear. If you have too much gear, toss it on. Obviously, it's going to be on every boot, and it's going to help you out bring in that loot back. So we'll show you really quick what Wonderlust is. So right here, I have 1 stack, 2 stacks here. You're going to see it speed up a little bit, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to see it continually speed up. And at 8 stacks, it's going to be its fastest, and it actually lasts a pretty long time here. And you're going to be able to see kind of why the daggers are so overpowered, because with this Wonderlust, you're also going to have a dash right there because of the daggers. So you're going to have a lot more movement than somebody without daggers, basically. So that's going to be kind of the build. I hope I went over everything that you guys were kind of wondering about with the cheap, effective build we got here. It is just a regular, basic claws build. I know a lot of you guys will probably well aware of this build. But if you didn't know about the chests, that could be something new. There are different chests, that work well. The wind wall, the soul chain, and then the ambush for the invis. So, depending on how you're ganking and where you're ganking, you can change up your chests for this a cheap, effective build, because those are all pretty, similar in price. But this is going to be the build you're going to want. It's going to be probably less than 200K for this entire build. I like to go a pork omelet, because the pork omelet allows you to get faster cooldowns, and it's going to increase your cast speed as well. So that's going to allow you to get your disembowel and your CC basically up a lot more. And if you're chasing somebody throughout the map or running away from people, you're going to have your mobility skills up a lot faster than the other people. So you can also run a beef stew if you would rather just have the damage to make sure you kill them. If you're only running with 2 people, you might need that beef stew for that secured kill with that more damage. It's kind of up to you, but this is my 4.0 cheapest and effective, most effective build for ganking. I hope this helped you guys out today. I was looking to kind of run more builds, explain builds out to you guys that are kind of new or need help understanding what each gear and why people run certain gear for ganking. I know a lot of people might wonder what's the point in the Royal Helm. Obviously that CC is going to be the reason you're going to run it, and that authority is pretty strong as well. As if you're running authority with the this chest over here, the knight's armor, you're going to have double authority, which is going to be a 15% increase on CC duration, which is going to help your ganking a lot. So like I said before, I hope this video does help you guys that are kind of new to ganking and need to understand a cheap, effective build. This is going to be your cheap, effective build. If you guys need something a little bit cheaper than this, like I said, just take that demon cape off. You don't really need that cape. Most likely if you have 3 players, you'll do enough damage the way it is. So, alright guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks.